The city never slept it couldn't afford to. In a sprawling metropolis where the future collided with the present, neon lights cut through the perpetual smog like beacons, guiding the masses through the labyrinth of concrete and steel. This was a place of stark contrasts. The affluent soared above the fray in their pristine towers, while the rest navigated the crowded streets below, their faces illuminated by the glow of advertisements and the flicker of augmented reality signs. It was a jungle of wires and waves, a place where technology was both a lifeline and a leash. Antoine Bernard moved through this neon jungle with a purposeful stride, his cybernetic eye scanning the crowd for anomalies. To the untrained observer, he was just another shadow among many. But to those in the know, he was a hunter, a cybernetic detective with a reputation for unraveling the most tangled of digital webs. His enhancements were not just tools, they were reminders of his vulnerabilities, of the price he had paid for his edge in this digitized world. His latest case had brought him to the heart of the city's bustling market district, a place where the digital and the physical merged in a chaotic symphony. Reports of neural implant malfunctions had been on the rise, a concerning trend in a society that relied so heavily on these devices for communication, work, and even basic cognitive functions. Antoine's investigation was personal. He had seen firsthand the damage that unchecked technology could wreak on the human psyche. It was a vendetta against the city's elite, a group he believed was too quick to sacrifice humanity on the altar of progress. As he navigated the crowded streets, his cybernetic eye picked up the faint signal of a malfunctioning implant. Following the digital trail, he found himself standing before a young woman, her eyes glazed over, mumbling incoherently to herself. It was a scene he had witnessed too many times. With practiced ease, he initiated a diagnostic scan, his own neural implants interfacing with hers in an attempt to stabilize the connection. The data that flooded his consciousness was chaotic, a storm of corrupted code and fragmented memories. But amidst the chaos, he detected a pattern, a signature that hinted at something more sinister than a simple malfunction. The trail led Antoine to the towering headquarters of Neurotech Innovations, a company that stood at the forefront of neural implant technology. It was a gleaming monolith of glass and steel, a symbol of the technological elite's dominion over the city. The man at the helm of this empire was Mike Alvarez, a tech mogul whose rise from the streets of Cuba to the pinnacle of corporate power was the stuff of legend. Charismatic and cunning, Mike was a visionary to some and a tyrant to others. To Antoine, he was a suspect, possibly the mastermind behind a plot to control the city's population through the very devices meant to empower them. Determined to uncover the truth, Antoine knew he needed help. The digital defenses of Neurotech Innovations were formidable, beyond the capability of any one person to breach. It was during his search for allies that he stumbled upon Alex, a hacker with a personal grudge against the technological elite. Alex was a ghost in the machine, a figure who flitted through the city's digital infrastructure with ease. Their partnership was one of convenience, but as they delved deeper into the mystery of the neural implant malfunctions, it became clear that their goals aligned more closely than either had anticipated. Together, they began to unravel the web of deceit that Mike had woven, discovering evidence of a far-reaching conspiracy to manipulate the city's populace. The neural implants, once heralded as the pinnacle of human achievement, were now potential tools of subjugation, capable of altering thoughts, emotions, and even memories. The implications were chilling, a stark reminder of the thin line between technological utopia and dystopia. As the first chapter of this neon-lit saga drew to a close, Antoine and Alex stood on the precipice of a revelation that could shake the foundations of their world. The battle lines were drawn, not just in the physical streets of the city, but in the digital realm that connected every citizen, every mind. The fight for freedom, for autonomy against the encroaching shadows of oppression, was just beginning. Antoine's journey through the neon jungle was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the edge of darkness. In the shadow of the towering monoliths of glass and steel, the digital heart of the city beat with a rhythm dictated by the elite. At the center of this orchestrated chaos stood Mike Alvarez, the architect of Neurotech Innovations' ascendancy. From his penthouse office high above the smog and neon, Mike surveyed his domain with a predator's gaze. His journey from the dusty streets of Cuba to the pinnacle of the city's technological empire was a testament to his brilliance, ambition, and an unquenchable thirst for power. To the public, he was a visionary, a pioneer in neural technology. But beneath the veneer of corporate benevolence lay a more sinister ambition to weave the threads of control into the very fabric of society. Antoine Bernard, with his cybernetic enhancements humming quietly beneath his skin, knew the dangers of such power all too well. His uneasy alliance with Alex, the enigmatic hacker, had unearthed disturbing evidence of Mike's machinations. The neural implants, once celebrated as the crowning achievement of human innovation, had become instruments of surveillance and control. Antoine's resolve hardened. This was more than an investigation, it was a war for the soul of the city. Mike's plan hinged on the neural implant's most invasive feature, the ability to not only monitor thoughts but to manipulate them. It was a power that could turn citizens into puppets, their free will eroded by the silent whispers of digital manipulation. Antoine and Alex's discoveries painted a chilling picture of a future where autonomy was an illusion, and the human mind became the ultimate battlefield. The revelation of Mike's intentions set the stage for an unlikely collaboration. Antoine, with his detective's intuition and cybernetic prowess, and Alex, whose skills as a hacker could penetrate the deepest layers of the city's digital defenses, realized that their combined talents offered a slim hope of thwarting Mike's plans. Their journey into the heart of the conspiracy would take them into the darkest corners of the city and the web of technology that ensnared it. Their first target was Neurotech Innovations' data center, a fortress of information guarded by the most advanced security protocols in existence. Alex's plan was audacious in its simplicity: to infiltrate the network, expose the control algorithms hidden within the neural implants, and devise a countermeasure to free the city's populace from Mike's grip. The operation was fraught with risk, but the stakes were too high to ignore. Failure meant not just their destruction but the enslavement of the city's soul. As they delved deeper into the labyrinth of code and steel, Antoine and Alex encountered resistance of both the digital and human variety. Mike, ever vigilant, had anticipated their move and unleashed his own countermeasures. Cybernetic mercenaries, their bodies augmented for combat, stood between the duo and their objective. It was a clash of flesh and metal, a testament to the lengths to which the elite would go to maintain their hold on power. But Antoine and Alex were not alone in their fight. The underbelly of the city, a melting pot of outcasts and rebels, became an unlikely source of support. These were the forgotten ones, victims of the relentless march of progress, their lives disrupted by the very technology that promised to elevate them. Their stories, marked by loss and resilience, added fuel to Antoine's resolve. This was not just a battle for the future, it was a fight for redemption, for the very essence of what it meant to be human in a world dominated by machines. The chapter closed with Antoine and Alex standing before the heart of Neurotech Innovations' data center, the digital vault where the fate of the city lay hidden. The air was electric with anticipation, the final confrontation with Mike looming like a storm on the horizon. The battle lines were drawn, not just in the neon-lit streets or the shadowed corridors of power, but in the minds of every citizen. Antoine understood the gravity of their mission: to dismantle the machinery of control was to challenge the gods of this new Olympus. But the fire of rebellion had been lit, and there was no turning back. The stage was set for a showdown that would decide the future of the city and the very notion of freedom in the age of digital gods. Beneath the neon glow and towering monuments to progress, the city's underbelly pulsed with life, a chaotic symphony of the displaced, the disillusioned, and the defiant. Here, in the shadowed alleys and decrepit buildings, technology intermingled with humanity in its rawest form, a stark contrast to the sanitized corridors of power above. Antoine and Alex, united in their quest against Mike's tyranny, ventured into this forgotten realm, seeking both allies and answers. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and decay, the walls adorned with graffiti that told stories of resistance and despair. Every face they passed bore the marks of struggle, eyes that had seen too much yet still flickered with an indomitable spirit. It was here, among the outcasts, that the true cost of the city's relentless pursuit of advancement was laid bare. Their first encounter was with Mara, a former neural engineer whose life had been derailed by one of Mike's experimental implants. Her workshop, a cluttered haven of salvaged tech and hopeful inventions, was a testament to her resilience. With trembling hands but a steady voice, she recounted her story to Antoine and Alex, a tale of ambition turned to nightmare. Her mind once a playground for Mike's manipulative algorithms. "I was a pioneer," Mara whispered, her eyes lost in the memory. "But to them, I was just another test subject. When the implant malfunctioned, they discarded me like a broken tool." Her story struck a chord in Antoine. a reminder of his own vulnerabilities and the invasive potential of the technology coursing through his veins. It was a bond of shared pain, a silent acknowledgement of the scars they carried, both physical and psychological. As they delved deeper into the underbelly, Antoine and Alex gathered a motley crew of allies: Ren, a streetwise hacker with a penchant for virtual graffiti; Tia, a former corporate spy with a grudge against neurotech; and Jonas, a doctor who had turned his back on the elite to tend to the victims of technological excess. Each had their own reason for joining the fight, but together they formed a network of resistance, bound by a common goal. Their conversations, filled with technical jargon, whispered plans, and the occasional bout of dark humor, wove a tapestry of camaraderie and determination. Alex, ever the pragmatist, focused on the task at hand, outlining their strategy with a hacker's precision. Antoine, meanwhile, became the unspoken anchor, his quiet strength and unwavering resolve lending courage to the group. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," Antoine said, his voice cutting through the tension. "We're fighting for everyone whose life has been twisted by their greed. For every mind they've tried to control, for every voice they've tried to silence." His words, spoken not as a cybernetic detective but as a man who had seen the depths of human suffering, resonated with the group. In that moment, their diverse backgrounds and personal vendettas coalesced into a singular purpose. The underbelly, with all its chaos and despair, became a crucible of rebellion. Their planning was interrupted by a sudden raid, corporate enforcers storming their hideout with the cold efficiency of machines. The clash was violent, a cacophony of gunfire and shouted commands, but it was also a testament to the human spirit's resilience. Together, Antoine and his unlikely allies fought back, each leveraging their unique skills to turn the tide. Mara's improvised gadgets sowed confusion among the attackers, while Ren's hacking turned their own technology against them. Tia and Jonas provided cover, their actions a dance of precision and care. In the aftermath, as they tended to their wounds and assessed the damage, the emotional toll was palpable. Fear, anger, and sorrow mingled in the air, but so too did a sense of unity. They had survived, not just as individuals but as a collective, a symbol of defiance against the oppressive forces above. "We're closer now," Alex said, surveying the group with a newfound respect. "Mike thinks he can control us, but he's underestimated the power of the human spirit. Together, we're going to tear down his empire, one brick at a time." As they prepared for the final confrontation, Antoine couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them to this point. From the neon-lit streets to the depths of the city's underbelly, he had seen the best and worst of what technology could offer. But it was the people, with their indomitable will to fight, who had shown him the true meaning of strength. The chapter closed with the group, battered but unbroken, standing together in the dim light of their hideout, a beacon of hope in the darkness. Their battle was far from over, but in their hearts they knew that the fight for freedom, for autonomy against the encroaching shadows of oppression, was a cause worth every sacrifice. The underbelly, with all its pain and beauty, had given them something invaluable: a family forged in the fires of resistance. The city lay beneath a shroud of tension, the skyline a jagged silhouette against the pre-dawn light. High above, the sleek facade of neurotech innovations loomed, a fortress of glass and steel at the heart of Mike Alvarez's empire. Inside, the air was charged with anticipation, the final pieces of Mike's plan clicking into place. Today, the city would awaken to a new order, one dictated by the silent whispers of his neural implants. But in the depths of the city's underbelly, a different kind of preparation was underway. Antoine, Alex, and their band of rebels huddled around a makeshift command center, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of screens. The plan was set: a daring assault on Neurotech's data center to disable the control algorithms and free the city's populace from Mike's grip. It was a gamble, a final stand against the encroaching darkness, and they all knew the stakes. "We've got one shot at this," Antoine said, his voice steady despite the turmoil raging within. "If we fail, it's not just our lives on the line, it's everyone's. Freedom, autonomy, the very essence of what it means to be human. It all hangs in the balance." Nods of agreement met his words, a silent testament to the bond forged in the crucible of their shared struggle. They were more than a team, they were a family, united in purpose and resolve. The assault began at dawn, the city's network of surveillance drones momentarily blinded by Ren's hacking prowess. As they infiltrated the data center, each member played their part with precision, their movements a choreographed dance amid chaos. Mara's gadgets disrupted the building's security systems. Tia and Jonas neutralized guards with non-lethal efficiency, and Alex spearheaded the attack on the digital front, her fingers flying over the keyboard in a furious ballet. Meanwhile, Antoine made his way to the heart of the facility, where Micah waited, his expression one of bemused contempt. "You think you can stop progress, Antoine? Control is inevitable. It's the next step in human evolution." Antoine's response was measured, his anger tempered by the weight of what was at stake. "Control without consent is not progress, Mike. It's tyranny. And I won't let you rob people of their freedom, of their right to choose their own path." The confrontation reached its climax as Alex breached the final layer of security, her voice echoing through the facility. "We're in. Initiating the override now." A tense silence enveloped the room, broken only by the hum of machinery and the rapid beating of hearts. Then, a sudden burst of light from the screens signaled success. The control algorithms disabled, the threat of city-wide domination averted. But victory came at a cost. The facility was a maze of alarms and chaos, corporate enforcers closing in. The rebels fought valiantly to secure their escape, their solidarity unbreakable, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Sacrifices were made, losses mourned, but the spirit of resistance, once ignited, could not be extinguished. The aftermath of the showdown left the city in a state of flux, the balance of power irrevocably altered. News of Mike's defeat and the liberation of the neural implants spread like wildfire, a beacon of hope in the darkness. The people, once passive pawns in a game of control, awakened to their newfound autonomy, their voices rising in a chorus of defiance and determination. Antoine stood at the edge of the city, watching the dawn break over the skyline, the first light of morning gilding the buildings in gold. The battle was won, but the war for freedom, for autonomy in the face of technological encroachment, was far from over. He knew that new challenges would arise, that the shadow of oppression would loom again. But as he looked back at his companions, at the family forged in the fires of rebellion, he felt a surge of hope. "We've started something here," he said, his voice carrying the weight of their shared experiences. "A movement. People have seen what's possible when they stand together, when they fight for what's right. We've given them a choice, and that's worth everything." The city, for all its scars and shadows, shimmered with potential, a canvas upon which a new narrative of autonomy and freedom could be written. Antoine and his allies, once outliers in a world that sought to control them, were now leaders in the fight to reclaim humanity from the clutches of unchecked progress. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the streets, Antoine turned back to the city, to the future that awaited. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with challenges and dangers, but one thing was clear: they would face it together, as guardians of freedom, as architects of their own destiny. In the end, Mind Games: The Neural Implant Uprising was more than a tale of technology and control. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that in the face of darkness, there will always be those who seek the light. Thank you so much for listening to this story. Please be sure to subscribe to hear more stories like this, and drop us a like too if you enjoyed it.